All right. Welcome, everybody, to today's talent show, where you will meet the people that power TTEC. I'm Rebecca, and I will be your host for today. We're so honored that you're joining us for today's show. Whether you're coming back and this is your second or third time watching, welcome back. Thank you. Or it's your first time, we appreciate you being here because we've designed a very special show for you today with your well-being in mind. So you won't want to miss a minute. And again, we're excited that you're here to join us for today's thought-provoking conversation. So did you know that there are over 20,000 book titles with happiness in them on Amazon? There are over 2,500 TED Talks about well-being. There's hundreds of podcasts about health and wellness. There is so much opportunity to consume something about our well-being. So what makes today's topic different and today's conversation? Well, as we round out Mental Health Awareness Month, we want to move today's conversation beyond happiness and positivity and talk about how, with today's guest, how we all have the power to shift our mindset, to have self-reflection and have a healing journey as well. So you're going to learn a lot today that take us beyond the typical conversation that you may hear in social media. But first, let's meet you. As you all know, if you've been tuning in, this is one of my favorite parts of the show. And we do already have people in the comments sharing where they are from here today. And so please drop in the chat where you're tuning in from around the globe. Hello, Celeste. Nice to see you. Hey, Michael McDonald in Canada, but from the US. Thanks for joining us today. Hello, Samir from Kashmir. Nice to see you again. And Megan, hello. Thanks for joining us today. And Donna, such a pleasure to see you here as well. She's here in Arizona as well. Hello, Mizra. Nice to see you. And Raul. So many amazing people from around the world, and we really hope that you'll walk away today with a new way or a revitalized way to approach your healing journey as well. Hello, Elizabeth from West Virginia. Vikram, hi from Hyderabad. Nice to see you. Mohammed, Corey, so many amazing global people here with us today. I think you're really going to enjoy today's conversation. I myself, a little selfishly, am also looking forward to it because when we've had today's guest on the show, I've been on the production side. So to be able to be alongside her with today's conversation is really special for me because I've learned so much from our guest, Janelle, over the past 5 years that I've been with TTEC. So let's meet Janelle Rosales. She is our Senior Manager of Global Benefits and U.S. Benefits, where she also leads our It's Okay, We're All Human wellness program. She has been in the industry for over 20 years with companies like Apple and Cisco and Yahoo, and of course here at TTEC for the past 8 years. She has a very high passion for helping people discover their why, and you're going to see that today in her passion as she delivers so many ideas and insight with us today. She also happens to be a Denver Nuggets fan, so Janelle, you may be on your way to an NBA championship as well. So everyone, give a shout out in the chat. Let's meet Janelle. Hello.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me back, Rebecca, and thank you for that great introduction. Always a pleasure to be here. I think anytime that I get to engage with our employees, that's motivation enough for me. I mean, we're very few people that get to really, have as much exposure to all of our various employees around the world. And so I'm incredibly honored to be able to do that. So thank you for having me. And yes, go Nuggets. They obviously did it last year. So let's see if the Nuggets can pull it off this year. And then we'll talk about the Broncos 2 years down the line. Not ready for that yet, but super excited about the Nuggets. So thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. And Janelle, this is your three-peat, so maybe we're putting it out in the universe for the Nuggets to get their first championship. And I say that as a Suns fan, so I don't say that very lightly because you guys beat us
right
on the way. Well, everyone, we're here to talk today about well-being. And so thank you so much, Janelle, for joining us today to talk about, that kind of dispelling some myths and moving beyond happiness and positivity. But first, let's meet you. So could you share a little bit more about you and your journey here at TTEC?
Absolutely. So I came to TTEC 8 years ago, just celebrated my 8-year anniversary earlier this month. My background, of course, is corporate wellness. So lots of years of developing wellness programs for our employees. And the beauty with TTEC is that a lot of our programs are built in-house. So most organizations will outsource their well-being programs. Everything we do is in-house. And I've got an amazing team in Justin Campbell and Teresa Norris, who I get to do it with. We get excited. Sometimes the littlest, craziest idea ends up being one of our best programs. And so, having had a lot of experience doing corporate wellness programs, I think TTEC has been my favorite place to be able to do that because I get to tie it to the benefits as well. And really creating a holistic approach to how we do health and wellness. So it's not just about your benefits. It's not just about your wellness program. It's how do you put the two together to be able to create a journey for you to become a better healthcare consumer, for you to find your why, for you to find value in the various programs that you get to do. And then best of all, you get rewarded for it if you're participating in our incentive program. And so, I think that TTEC uh, really does an amazing job of investing in you, our employees, and I get to be a part of that. And so, super excited for our health and wellness program. I do interact with a lot of you as part of that program. It's okay, we're all human. Our mental health program is not part of our wellness program, but it's as important. And I, with Tanya Anderson, and she's no longer here, Zoe Izzard, we were able to build that program, and so very, very proud of it. And always excited when I get invited or one of my team members gets invited to do these types of conversations. So thanks again for having me. Really looking forward to today.
Yeah, definitely. And Janelle, I mean, I can tell you, you've been my wellness navigator, and I've interacted with your other navigators, and really their ability and their passion to help us globally is amazing. And that kind of leads us into, we're a global company. We have a global audience here on today's episode. And so before we get into the conversation about mental health, we wanted to talk about kind of setting the framework that we're all from different regions, different identities, different perspectives. And so could you share with us more, again, before we start deep diving a little more into mental health, about why it's important that we each approach today's conversation through our own lens?
Absolutely. And that's an important point, right? We are global in nature. We have different viewpoints. We have different perspectives. We were all raised a little bit different. What it means to be okay or to not be okay. And so I think it's very important to level set in that regard. However, the one thing that we all share is that we're human. We're all people. We're all humans with emotions, with feelings, with the ability to work on ourselves. That's what separates us from I don't want to call us animals, but you know what I mean. That's what makes us human. And so, the best part is that your mental health journey is yours. It's nobody else's. It's for you to work through. It's for you to journey. And it's going to look different. And being okay and not being okay are also going to look different. And that's okay. That's the point. I think that when I think about mental health, a lot of it for me comes from connecting with my family and with my friends. And it's not necessarily about finding that happy place. I think that's one of the things I would like to dispel today is that a lot of times we equate good mental health with being happy. And I don't know where that came from. But I think that it's going to be different for everybody. For some, it might be happiness. My idea of a good mental health is fulfillment. It's time with my family and friends. It's my ability to work through whatever I might have going on in my life. And we all know that life can change on a dime. And you may not be ready for it. And that might be your opportunity to learn some of those skills and to be able to look at yourself and say, how can I approach this? But the point is that you just need to do you, wherever you are from in the world, however you look at mental health, It's all about you and your journey, not what anybody else tells you, but what makes sense for you.
Yeah, thank you very much for setting that framework, and that will help guide us through the rest of today's conversation. And you were great when we were setting up today's conversation, helping me to understand, like, all right, Rebecca, there's some myths that we need to bust out there. And I appreciate that your guidance helped us to get to today's conversation. So could you share a little bit more about what mental health is and what it is not?
Mhm.
And that piece that you and really imparted upon me, which was that we have the ownership over our well-being journey.
Yeah, like I said, we hear a lot of equating mental health with happiness, or living your best life. We hear that all the time, right? Is my mental health must be good because I'm living my best life. But here's the thing: you could be living your best life, or what you think is your best life, but deep down you're really miserable, or you've got a nagging feeling that says I'm not satisfied, or I'm not content, or there's something that's just not right. And I think being able to acknowledge that, being able to understand it, is really what you want to do. To me, mental health is being equipped with understanding that life has all sorts of inevitable, let me back it up, inevitable turns and twists and different things that are going to happen. And it's your ability to deal with that, to acknowledge everything that goes with it. That, in my perspective, that's what mental health is about. Mental health is not being happy all the time. It's not sunshine and rainbows. I think we have this idea of seeing the positive in everything, and I absolutely 100% believe in that. But I think good mental health is also acknowledging that life is not always great. It's not always good. And there are just some days you're just trying to get through the day. Or perhaps you've been through a traumatic situation. Yes, you want to be able to see the silver linings and the positive in that, but we also want you to be able to lean into it, to take it for what it is, and maximize that opportunity that life has presented you with something for a reason. Or maybe you needed to make a left because you're going right, and the universe says, let's back it up, you got to go left. And I think that that's why some of these things in life happen. Yes, a lot of our choices contribute to that. However, I'm a firm believer that life happens a certain way for us to learn, for us to grow. So again, it's not about the achievement of happiness. It's the achievement of what is for you, what fulfills you, what's important to you. So for me, mental health is about your journey and how you respond to life and everything that it presents you with. And I'm going to repeat that because I think it's an important thing, is that mental health is all about your journey and how you respond to all that life presents you with. Um, so when I say that, what does that tell you? To me, it says it's within your control. You have the power to how you respond to all of these things in life, when life isn't okay or when life is great. How do you respond to that? And so I think that the biggest message is that that power is within you. So you have the power to acknowledge your feelings. You have the power to allow yourself to not be okay. You have the power to lean into those emotions, and you're going to hear me say that a lot, because I think that we've unfortunately been conditioned to believe that when we feel anger, or when we feel frustration, or when we feel a certain emotion, that it's not okay. But that's the body's way. That's our way as humans to express ourselves. Now, what you do with that emotion is the key. But to feel it, allow yourself to be a little bit angry, allow yourself to be frustrated, allow yourself to hurt. If you allow yourself that, but not wallow in it, you kind of know better with what you're working with. And that's okay. It's part of the process to feel all sorts of different things and to not ignore them. I think too often we ignore those feelings, we sweep them under the rug, and we don't deal with them. But as long as you understand those emotions, acknowledge them, go with them, you're going to be able to pull yourself out of it. I promise, because that's part of the process. Now, what I will say is that it takes a lot of work. It's not an easy thing to do. And so, when we self-reflect, when we introspect, when we look at ourselves, that's your power. I would encourage you to harness that power. Don't ignore the emotions. Don't ignore the feelings. Embrace them. Go with them. Feel them. And you'll find before you know it that when you're able to do that, it gives you something to work with, and you can start processing. Like I said, it's not easy, but the way that I like to look at it is that you come out on the other side reborn. Um, and that's life, right? Is that we're always kind of changing and evolving, and that's what it's supposed to be about. And you may have new perspectives, you may have a new skill set of having, better tools to be able to cope with life as it happens. But like I said, the most important part is that mental health is about your ability to harness those emotions and feelings so that you got something to work with, where you're going with it. And you can respond to them, right? We often hear the difference between responding and reacting. And part of that, I think, is just emotional regulation, right? Feel the feels, feel the feels. Don't ignore them. But then it's what you do with them. And you want to find a way to learn to respond to them versus react to them. And it's not going to be easy the first few times, trust me. So, but it's really about taking that journey so that you do find self-fulfillment or satisfaction. Like I said, for some that's happiness, whatever it means to you, whatever it is that you're looking for in life.
All right, everybody. I told you today was going to be a different conversation about well-being and mental health. And Janelle, you're bringing it home. I found myself resonating with so many aspects of what you were just talking about. So thank you very much for that, and a lot for each of us to walk away and consider after today's conversation. Real quick, we do just want to go back to the audience, and thank you so much I see there's David Pierre joining us, Zakia. We also have Vikas and Marahi. With saying hello in French, I believe. So hello there, bonjour. And today's question we want to ask to the audience as we kind of gear up for the next question with Janelle is, how do you center yourself? Maybe I'll give an example. I was talking with one of our producers, Smear Tea, before today. She had said to me, we were talking about the power of Om. And so before this live, because I knew this was going to be a very special episode, I went out into the sunshine and did some Om and meditation just to center myself. And it really did help to prepare me for this moment. So shout out to Reedy. Thank you for that tip. But what do you all do to center yourselves? So, Gabriella. Oh, hey there, Gabby. Feel the feels, noted. Definitely feel the feels, and then how to respond to them instead of react. I really like how you shared that too, Janelle. So thank you for that. So Michael also says, you can smile through everything and not be fake and still face what feeling is. Will it be important in 5 minutes? Move forward. Don't be stuck in what you may not be able to control or change. So thank you, everyone. Please keep responding in the comments. We do have another question as well, Janelle. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about, the past few years have been challenging, along with just being human, like you said, and having our regular day-to-day struggles or things that we need to work through. We've had a pandemic, we have social media, we have everything that's ensued in the past few years. So some of us may or may not recommend or recognize that we need to heal, or there is a healing journey ahead of us. And I really loved how you shared with me earlier more about the importance of healing and that self-reflection piece. So would you mind just taking us a little bit further into what that means?
Absolutely. I think that healing is scary. You've heard me say it a million times. It's a journey, just like everything else. I've personally been on my own healing journey for about the last 7 months. It's not easy. A life literally can change in an instant. You're plucking along, doing just fine, and then all of a sudden, you get this big lightning bolt that comes in and says, we're taking you the other way. And so I personally have learned the value of healing. And I think that it's unfortunately something that people don't necessarily take the time to do. It could be something very simple. You have a very bad day, or you have a bad week, or perhaps you've got something much more traumatic. Or for all of us, we experienced COVID. I mean, nobody saw that coming, and it changed our lives so dramatically. And I think that, as we're past the 3-year mark, a lot of what happens is this whole idea of the new norm. But I think we, as Rebecca said, we would be remiss to not recognize that there's probably still some healing that needs to come from that. In that, we talk about the new norm, and or getting back to the way that it was before, and sometimes it's not about going back to who we were before the pandemic, or who we were before the traumatic experience that we went through, or whatever it might be. Sometimes it's about renewing. It's a rebirth of ourselves. It's evolving. It's not necessarily ever about going back. And so I think that that's one of the most important things about the healing journey, is to recognize that it's okay to know that you might open up some old wounds as you start thinking about feeling and your emotions that you're working through. That's part of the process, and it's imperative to be able to heal. You can't heal if you're not, again, feeling what you need to feel and then responding accordingly to them. And accordingly is different for everybody else, right? For some, it may take 5 times to figure it out. For some, it comes right away. For some, it might take years. But I think that part of healing, I've got a whole list of tips to share as part of that healing. And I don't know, Rebecca, if you want me to just go right into that, but I guess my biggest message is just, it's allow yourself to heal. We all went through something traumatic with COVID. We all have things that happen, and it's okay to stop, slow down, acknowledge things, and go through that healing process. Just like when we get a deep cut, we've got to give it time to heal. The same thing works with our mental well-being. You got to allow yourself to heal from some of those things, or it's going to rear its head again at some point. Oh,
Yeah, Janelle, if you want to share those tips, please keep going.
absolutely. So I'll piggyback on what I think Michael McDonald said. That whole idea of control. So we only have certain things that are within our control. And so one of the absolute best things that you can learn is to control what you can control and let go of the rest. Way easier said than done, but it is possible. The more you learn to be able to say what actually is within my control and letting go of the rest, you'd be amazed at being able to focus on just those things you can control. And before you know it, it's automatic. So I would say that is absolutely one of the best skills that you can learn as we talk about healing, self-introspection, growing, evolving, all of those things. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is listen to your instincts. They're there for a reason, and they tell you what you need to know. Don't be afraid to listen to them. I know sometimes we get in a situation where we're like, oh, my gut's just telling me that I'm just nervous, or I'm just whatever. Your instincts and your gut's telling you something for a reason. And so listen to that. I would also encourage you to celebrate the good. Even as you're going through a healing journey, still celebrate those positive moments. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, I'll be happy when, or I'll feel better when. It's kind of an effort in futility. It's not how life works. You're going to have bad situations, but celebrate those good situations. Celebrate those silver linings, those positives, those things that simply make you smile. Even if you're in a world of hurt, those little things keep you going. You heard me say it already. Embrace the emotions and go with them. Feel them. And then you can decide how you want to deal with them. Sometimes it's just about feeling something for the sake of feeling it, and then you move on. But embrace those emotions. They're there to help you. They're what make us human. Recognize the heal, or the need to heal, and understand that as part of that process, it might open up old wounds that you may never have dealt with before, that you never healed from. And so that's okay. Think of it as a rebirth. Think of it as having to go through that process. One of my favorite things is acknowledging the lesson. There's a life lesson in everything. As simple as it may sound, embrace that something's trying to teach me something here and grow from it. That's part of what makes us humans, is that we do have that opportunity to grow and learn. Um, and remember that life happens and it can change in an instant. Sometimes it's in your control based on decisions that you make. But the fact is that it happens. Life happens. Things happen, and it's building that mental health toolbox, so to speak. Yeah, I hate to use the word toolbox, because I think it's a little trite at times, and it's very easy for us to say, oh, just build your toolbox. But it's not about that. It's really about just building those personal skills. And it is a lifelong journey. You're never going to get to the end. And, one of my favorite quotes is from Ernest Hemingway. And it's essentially about the journey is not about getting to the end. The best part is the journey itself. And so that's really important. And most importantly is just you know who you are, what makes you you, and you use that to work through the process. My journey is going to be very different than your journey, and that's the beauty of it, is that it doesn't have to be. That's what makes us humans and makes the world so great, is that we have that diverse viewpoint and that diversity in who we are as people. So those are my tips.
Janelle, I know today is a really big day for you, as well as your son is graduating in like an hour
Yep.
from high school. And I feel like you should have been the speaker at graduation, because I think today's youth could benefit from a lot of that advice, as well as the rest of us adults that are watching today. Really so much that you've unpacked with us here today, help take us to a whole new level and way to approach our mental health. We really appreciate it. We know we've got to get you onto your graduation. Let's go for a four-peat sometime here
Sure.
on the talent show. But thank you very, very, very much for your insight today. And I hope you have a wonderful time with your son and all the graduation festivities. We appreciate everyone. You can see she's so passionate about what she does. She's taken time out of her graduation day to join us for this conversation. And that really says a lot, Janelle, about your belief in helping people understand their why and get on their mental health journeys. So thank you very, very, very much.
You are very welcome. Always happy to share that. And I know it feels rushed. I mean, I could talk about this for hours and hours and hours, but again, just the time that I get with y'all is great, and I certainly appreciate it. So thank you.
Oh, definitely. And this isn't a conversation you want to rush either, right?
Yeah.
Like this isn't, as we've talked about, like a quick hit here or there. It is really a conversation that deserves some depth
Yes.
and some more time to it. So I know I have like 7 more questions over here, but I know your son's waiting for you too. So thank you very much again, Janelle, and we hope to see you in the near future.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody.
All right, thank you. Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning, sharing your feedback. I appreciate it. David says, congratulations, enjoy the moment. Oh, also, I believe it was Ronaldo. I loved what you wrote in the chat as well. Something as simple as centering yourself as making a salad, chopping, peeling, quite relaxing. And then the reward, it's delicious after that. So thank you for sharing it, because it could be as simple as something like that, or being more in self-reflection, as Janelle shared. So all of this to say that TTEC is doing some amazing things to help support the mental health of our team around the world. So we've got a few jobs to highlight with you here today. If you're interested in becoming a part of the TTEC family, please head to ttecjobs.com and find out what's happening in your neck of the world and see what jobs are available. We have our culture book, we've got our blogs, we have so many things to help you get even more of a sneak peek behind TTEC. But first, and especially, I thought this this was a good one since we're talking about health today, is that here in the United States, we are calling out for all licensed healthcare agents. We are looking for you to join our team to support open enrollment this fall. So bring your license to our role here. It is remote, so you get to work from home, help clients, and make a difference this fall and this open enrollment season with TTEC. So please come check out that job. And if you happen to be tuning in from Bulgaria, or you know someone in Bulgaria, we are looking for a recruitment manager to lead our recruiters. And what better thing to do than to help people find their next career and their next passion while leading a team. So if you know anybody in Bulgaria, give them a shout out and let them know that we're looking for this hybrid role where you'll be supporting a team of recruiters. And then maybe you are an accountant here in the United States, but we are looking for an accountant in a remote role here as well, a senior revenue accountant to help with an amazing accounting team. So again, these might not be jobs for you, but they might be jobs for somebody else. So please help share that. And please come to ttechjobs.com to learn more about opportunities available near you. So, as we round back to ending today's show, I just wanted to be sure to thank each of you for joining us for this very important conversation. We hope you're all walking away with a new approach, a refreshed approach, or a revitalized way that you want to go about your mental health journey, and that there's so many people out there to help support you along the way as well. So, thank you for joining us. If you have missed an episode before, don't worry, you can go and follow TTEC on LinkedIn and you'll get access to every live moving forward. So again, thank you to our guest Janelle for sharing her passion, expertise, and her very important graduation day with us here around the globe as well. So have a wonderful week ahead, everyone. Thanks again. We'll see you in 2 weeks.